Hey, what's up guys? Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be doing a little hidden gems video, discussing some of the diamonds in the rough for the original generation Xbox, the first Xbox, at least that I feel, are games that were probably just a little bit overlooked by the masses. They weren't huge sellers or anything like that, but I feel they're definitely great games, definitely worthy of a pickup, and absolutely worthy of a playthrough. So for any of you out there who still have your original Xbox like me, maybe collect those old games and still enjoy them, this is my gift to you. I hope this helps you guys out, maybe steers you in the direction of some games you may have missed the first time around. So let's go ahead and get into the list. These are in no particular order. First we're going to start off with a game by Rockstar. I'm sure you guys know who they are. GTA, just a huge list of games of the year and successful titles. And they really can't do a whole lot of things wrong. These guys are really amazing track record. And during the height of GTA, GTA 3, GTA 4, or excuse me, GTA Vice City, during that heyday, they put out a game that was kind of a love letter to guys like me who were fans of the movie called The Warriors. Basically running on the GTA engine, more or less, like a modded version of it. Kind of the same flavor as GTA. If you like that kind of stuff, I think this will definitely speak your language. But in my opinion, this goes way beyond a normal GTA game as far as story. The first awesome thing right off the bat that hits you with this game is it has complete campaign co-op, meaning you can co-op from the very beginning all the way to the very end. So the game basically expands upon the contents of the original movie. If I remember correctly, the first mission that you're on takes place like 3 months before the Rumble, 6 months, something like that. And you actually get to see some of the people that are in the movie as the Warriors kind of get their druthers, when they're first invited into the gang through what they call flashback missions, where you get to see kind of the genesis of each of these characters. So you get to do all kinds of things. You get to go out on missions. Then there's the overarching story where eventually it ties into the movie, and then the game plays out throughout the course of events that take place in the movie. And it's just really awesome. It's really well written. They got a bunch of the voice actors that were actually in the original movie to come back and do their voices. They got Swan, Ajax, Cleo, Fox Cowboy. All those guys pretty much came back to do their voices for the video game, which was super awesome. This is just a absolutely outstandingly done game. Rockstar, not that they really haven't made any shitty games, at least not any that I remember, and this one is absolutely no exception, so please check it out. Keeping with the motif of video games that are based on movies, next we have The Thing, based on John Carpenter's remake, actually, of the original Thing from Another World back in the 50s, his movie in the 1980s with Kurt Russell called The Thing. Basically what this game does is instead of it following the events that take place in the movie, it actually takes place after the movie. After the events where the small crew in either the Arctic or the Antarctic, I can't remember, they're basically up in the middle of fucking nowhere, where there's nothing but snow, there's no other civilization around. And the real beauty of this alien, is the way John Carpenter portrayed it in his movie, is that it can perfectly imitate anything, any life form, animals, humans, whatever. So if your buddy next to you goes missing for 5 minutes and comes back, he could very easily be the alien. Almost like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you don't really know who are the people and who are the aliens, the pods. So, like I said, this game takes place after this. You're basically playing the role of a military captain who's sent in to basically figure out what exactly happened. So he kind of sees the aftermath, and you go to a few of the different campsites and whatever, like the Norwegian campsite, which is mentioned in the movie. You get to check that out. You have a couple of members of your team with you, and here's what really drew me into this game so much. And I played this through a couple times, and I've noticed that things actually change. It's very claustrophobic, I guess is the word. Like, you feel like you're being pulled in to this tiny little space. You have to do all these events throughout the course of the game to kind of keep things moving. It takes little snippets from the movie, little kernels of awesome that the movie is known for, and incorporates them into the game in a very sensible and non-cheesy way. For example, there's a scene in the movie where all the guys, basically, they gather everyone in one central room, and they want to find out once and for all who's the alien and who's the person. And the only way to do that is with a blood test. Apparently, the alien's blood reacts to extreme heat. So they basically take blood samples from everyone in the room, touch it to a really hot piece of coil, and if it reacts, then you're the alien. If it doesn't, then you're safe. So A lot of the time when you're running with other members of your crew, sometimes the paranoia seeps in and they think that you're one of the aliens. So you can actually give yourself a blood test in front of them to prove that you're not one of them. And on the same token, you can give them a blood test to see if they're an alien or not. And I'll be honest with you guys, your results may vary on this. The playthroughs that I've done through this, like even, when I'm in the middle of the game and I die and I go back to another save point and I play the same thing through again, the outcome was different. Actually, like one guy who wasn't an alien, then became one, when given the blood test. So it really, that kind of random AI kind of thing that they incorporate into it really makes for A, great replay value, and B, a really cool and immersive experience. You definitely feel like you're pulled into this thing. And I felt that it laid tribute to the movie in a really cool and really uncheesy, uncopying kind of way. So definitely check this one out. Okay, next we have Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. This one, guys, I will go on record and say is going to be extremely valuable someday. Because this is one they did not make a lot of copies of. It was very hard to get, even when it was new. I had to basically harass a couple of GameStops and Best Buys to try and find a copy of one of these, because I'd heard about it and I'd seen the game trailers and things for it, but just getting a hold of one of these was nigh impossible. Really, really awesome game from a absolutely AAA company. Guys, this is Bethesda Softworks. I mean, these are the guys who made the Morrowind and Elder Scrolls series and the Skyrim and stuff like that. And what is that freaking game called? Fallout, the Fallout series. So it's like, this is like the greatest game no one's ever heard of from a huge company. But it didn't really get a lot of marketing, anything. I don't remember seeing any commercials or anything for it, just kind of ads in game magazines and little trailers on game sites and things. But let me tell you a little bit about this game. First of all, it's based on one of the works of H.P. Lovecraft. Some of you may recognize the name from a famous Metallica song, Call of Cthulhu. The spelling's a little bit different, but that's what they drew their source from as well. So, what makes this game stand out? Several things. First of all, your player that you're playing against, this guy, Jack, I think is his name, he's just kind of investigating the events that takes place in this really creepy little town, kind of really far removed from everything, where everyone's just kind of off. And what they did to enhance the player, it's a first-person shooter, just as an FYI, but what they really did to enhance the overall experience of this game was that your character is very human. He has fears, real fears of real things that a lot of people in real life share that of, real phobias. For example, there's a sequence, a couple of them actually, when he goes out onto a ledge, onto a high thing, and when you look down, he gets vertigo. And it's not a cheesy kind of cutscene kind of thing where it's like, ooh, he's freaking out. No, like, your perspective inside the HUD changes. Like, he starts to get vertigo and his vision starts to blur. His breathing starts to get labored and things like that. He starts saying things like, oh shit, what am I doing up here? Things like that. Just non-scripted, really, things that just kind of happen at random. On the same token, he gets afraid when he sees new monsters for the first time. Like, heartbeat goes up and stuff like that. And it's really just, I don't want to call it realistic, but I mean, definitely of all the games I've played, this incorporates the most realism into how a actual person would react to these type of scenarios. Even down to when you heal yourself inside the game, you don't just get like a medikit and it fixes all. Like, you have to have specific things to fix specific injuries. Like, sometimes when you jump too far, you get a broken leg and you actually start limping, so you see your perspective kind of jostling around, so you have to have a splint and everything to set it. When you're bleeding profusely, you have to have a suture to sew it up. You need bandages, things like that. Just all kinds of little things like that. When you start bleeding out, the color starts to drain from the picture, down to what they call the sanity meter, where it's only happened to me once, but Jack eventually can get so freaked out by things, if you don't kind of do things to mitigate his stress, he will actually kill himself. It actually only happened to me once in the game, but that's like one of a handful of times I've ever been playing a video game where my jaw actually was like, what the fuck just happened? I was in a room, I'm trying to figure out this puzzle thing, and there's this kind of creepy statue thing going on, and I could tell that Jack was getting agitated by it, like shit was about to go down. And I'm trying to figure this out, I'm scrambling to get this done, and then the next thing I know, I see Jack do this with the gun from first person perspective, so it's coming at you like this, puts the gun in his mouth and blows his head off. And that was the end of it. could not believe that. And I played it through again, and that didn't happen again. This wasn't scripted. So, I mean, that was like one of the coolest things I'd ever seen in video games. I mean, I know that's like morbid and disturbing, but I was like, wow, like they really put some effort in this game. Not that I would expect anything less from Bethesda Softworks, man. They always put just everybody's spirit into their games, man. They always just go full tilt boogie straight into their games. So definitely check out Call of Cthulhu, and for all you collectors out there, get it before it becomes too expensive. This one's going to get harder to find. This is definitely going to be a collector's item because it came out so late in the Xbox's life cycle, and they didn't publish that many, so check it out. Next up, we've got Justice League Heroes, originally released by WB Games, but it says right here in the lower right-hand corner, developed by Snowblind Studios. For those of you not in the know, Snowblind's definitely a big name. They developed the Baldur's Gate series, a lot of the D&D games and things like that, and they actually used the Baldur's Gate engine on this game. And you wouldn't think that that kind of thing would play very well inside of a comic book universe, but let me put it to you this way, guys. Justice League Heroes is pretty much a co-op D&D dungeon crawler with the Justice League. So you get the role-playing element where you're upgrading your powers and things like that. You get new abilities and things, new costumes, all kinds of stuff while you're playing the Justice League. So Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter. You can unlock different characters. The Huntress. They have different Green Lanterns. You get Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart. So you get kind of a little bit of everything. This is really a love letter to geeks like me who are really into the Justice League. And again, when you play through it each time, you actually get to keep your stats. So you cannot max out your stats in one playthrough at all. Trust me, I've tried. You can't do it. So I played through it like 2 or 3 times, and I still haven't maxed out all of the characters. I think I've maxed out Superman and Batman. And you just get to unlock just new and exciting things. You can constantly upgrade your powers and things like that. You got a really great voice cast in this one. George Newbern plays Superman. He played him in a lot of the JLA Unlimited series. He was the voice of the character. So you got the actual Superman, basically playing the voice of Superman from the television show. They didn't get Kevin Conroy for Batman, unfortunately, but they did get someone who I thought really filled the shoes well, Ron Perlman. Really does a great job in this. And the banter between him and Superman, it's just superbly well written. Really cool overarching story. And guys, at the end, you're fighting Darkseid. Need I say more? I mean, there's so many appearances from some of the heroes and villains in the DC universe. So if you're into that kind of thing and you really dig the Justice League, guys, this is a game you do not want to miss. You can get this really cheap now. It's a lot of fun. A little bit of old school couch co-op with a buddy of yours. Really great playthrough experience. You can play through again and again, and it just does not seem to get stale. Okay, next we actually have a game that is in a series of games, Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer. The sequel to the original Hunter the Reckoning, also on the Xbox, also on a good game, but the reason I picked this one over the other one, this is definitely a much more polished and more updated version of it. Not to mention, instead of 4 characters to pick from, there are 5 on this one, which is the new character, the Redeemer, the classic character. So what is Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer? Okay, basically, guys, it's a role-playing game that is one of the most interesting mixes of shooter and hack and slash. Each character in the game has a firearm, in the case of the priest, crossbow, but some type of projectile firearm, projectile weapon, and a melee weapon. So you get to upgrade, firearm skills, you get to upgrade melee skills, you have powers and everything like that, just kind of just ethereal type of stuff that you get to work on, artifacts and things to enhance your powers. It's a really, really awesome story. The dialogue is just absolutely outstanding. Great voice acting from the cast. Nobody really of note, but just a really great job all the way around. And it's a really cool game that you can sit with 3 other buddies, old school couch co-op style, play through together in an old school RPG, but kind of without the fantasy stuff in. It's more of a modern setting. It takes place now, not in a fantasy world. Like one of the characters is a cop, one of them is an outlaw biker, one of them is a priest, one of them is just a rave chick, and then there's the Redeemer, who's, I don't remember what she does for a living, but these are all basically real people kind of sucked into this thing. Originally created by White Wolf Industries as a pen and paper game, a little tabletop game. The folks at Vivendi Universal basically optioned it and made it into a game, and I just thought it was amazing. Like, the first one hooked me, and the second one I thought, out of the park. I was really sad to see that they didn't do an update to this on Xbox 360. I thought it was a really good series. Apparently it didn't sell all that well. For the life of me, I don't know why. This is such an awesome game, man. I absolutely love this. If you love hack and slash, top-down kind of old-school D&D style stuff where you got shooting, just ethereal powers, hack and slash, all that kind of stuff. With the element of co-op thrown in there, guys, this is one you do not want to miss. Check out Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer. I know that's a mouthful. Okay, and lastly, we have an Xbox exclusive. Guys, some of you out there may have heard of this one. This one definitely didn't get as much love as I thought it should from a lot of real gamers out there, some real collectors out there. You definitely know what this one is, but for those of you who don't, this is Grabbed by the Ghoulies. Kind of a weird name, just almost like, sounds like you're, grabbing by the ghoulies, but really famous company made this one, guys. Rare, as in Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, yeah, those guys. Microsoft owns them now, actually. And they put together this game, and to me, this almost seems like a throwback to the SNES era. Those particular style of games, where you play this little guy named Cooper, and he is out rolling with his girlfriend or whatever, something like that, and she gets pulled into this haunted house, and basically Cooper has to go in after her. And all these little zany things happen. These little the creatures and the creativity that they put in this thing. Not that I expect anything less from Rare. Those guys are awesome. That the creativity that they put in this is just outstanding. The characters, each of the little enemies has different personalities, and they're really, really kind of zany type of ways. Like there's these little things you fight called ninja imps. That are really, really small, actually. I mean, they're so small that when Cooper fights them, you can actually punt them like a football. He just goes up to them like, and they make this really funny noise when they jump in. They're like, hey-ya! I don't know, for some reason it just cracks me up. There's vampire chickens, there's zombie pirates, all kinds of things, and you build these all types of weapons and things like that to be able to fight these types of animals, like the soda grenade launcher and stuff like that. So it's like almost like a grenade launcher, but it shoots soda cans. Just little things like that. And the story is really good. They've got little moments where Cooper gets scared, and you have to do little quick button combinations to avoid losing health. So he's like, and you do a little button combo to stop him basically from losing a vast amount of health. But a really great story, really cool ending. Definitely one that I'm going to go through and play again and again. Just absolutely love this. Great title. Definitely destined to be a classic. So go out there and get you one before they get too hard to get. Well, that about wraps it up, guys. Those are my hidden gems from the original Xbox system. If you have a series of what you feel are hidden gems on the Xbox system, or really any other system, why don't you go ahead and submit a video, man? That's what YouTube's all about. Put your opinion out there. Share your information with the rest of us. You might have a hidden gem that I missed that I would like to pick up for my collection. So believe me, I really do like watching those things. And if you put one together, shoot me a link down below, man. I'd love to check it out. Well, thanks everyone so much for stopping by. To all my fellow gamers, retro or not, game on.